India's electronics retail market is at the heart of the country's consumption story. Rising incomes, rapid urbanization, easy financing, and changing lifestyles are driving demand for everything from smartphones and smart TVs to air conditioners and premium home appliances. Consumers today are not just buying more, they are upgrading to smarter and feature-rich products. What's equally interesting is how India shops. While e-commerce has transformed convenience and price discovery, physical stores continue to play a critical role, especially for high-value purchases where consumers want to see, touch, and compare products before buying. The future belongs to retailers who seamlessly combine online convenience with offline experience. On Deep Dive, we decode the trends shaping India's electronics retail industry, the opportunities created by low product penetration, the rise of organized retail and premiumization, and why this sector could be one of India's biggest long-term consumption stories. Joining me now is Mr. Premchand Devarakonda, who is the Chief Financial Officer at Electronics Smart India Limited. Mr. Devarakonda, thank you very much for joining us on Deep Dive. To begin with, if you look at the entire electronics retailing market, it has been growing at a healthy level. But even as we see that, the penetration for electronics retailing is not so much. The penetration is still yet to pick up. Why is that, sir?
See, this lot of categories like see, there is a lot of premiumization is happening in this industry in the recent past. So mainly in mobile category and large screen televisions and then large appliances categories like washing machines and air conditioners. So these products don't have penetration in the past. So now there is a lot of scope for further penetration in these markets. That is first part. And second is this rural electrification is happening across India rapidly. And that is really giving a boost to this industry. And third thing, lot of urbanization is happening. So around the existing metros. So that is another root cause for this improved demand for these categories in the recent past.
If you can also give us a sense of the kind of growth that you are seeing both in the urban cities and in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well. Which part of the country is seeing a much faster growth of penetration?
See, we have presence in AP, Telangana and NCR states. So I can easily talk about these states. So there, in metros, the growth rate is, in absolute terms, metros are contributing better throughput, whereas suburban and rural regions, actually, in absolute terms, their contribution is not really comparable with the metros. However, in percentage growth, so it is much higher in the tier 2, tier 3 cities compared to the metros. For example, in a place like Hyderabad, if we get say 10% growth, so in rural, in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, in AP and Telangana, we are getting more than 25% growth. So that is the difference between the metros and the tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Another important factor that comes into play is the kind of space or the retail space that you lease or you own, depending upon the kind of model that companies have. The cost of operating in a retail outlet, how does that metric work for metros and non-metros and in tier 2 and tier 3 cities? And do you look at a bigger showroom or a retail outlet in tier 2 and tier 3 as compared to an urban city?
See, the operating costs are obviously much higher compared to the tier 2 and 3 cities in metros. So, for example, in NCR, say it is the highest because of the highest real estate prices. When in Hyderabad, it is higher than other tier 2 and tier 3 cities in AP and Telangana. So, however, see, the throughputs are much better in the cities, in metros. So as a result, when it comes to the store level EBITDA, the difference is not significant. Like it is only 1 percentage point difference between uh, tier 2, 3 cities and metros.
Sir, even though the electronics retailing market is huge, the penetration of the three basically, especially television, refrigerator, and washing machine, having in one household is low. And it's just 20% of the Indian household that have all three together. Give us a sense of the kind of penetration and how or what kind of tailwind that you see for them.
See, in the products where, I mean, which we are dealing with, uh, so AC is the lowest penetration in these markets. So that has the highest potential in the next couple of years. And then next is the large screen televisions. So that is actually, it is growing rapidly in the recent past. Since the GST rate cut, the demand for these large screen televisions has gone up drastically. And the third is the washing machines category. So here earlier, actually, people were actually they're using 7 maids for washing their clothes, whereas now actually they in especially in suburb in cities in tier 1 and tier 2 cities as well. So there is a lot of demand for this category, and when it comes to the home automation, so that is another category where the penetration is the lowest in the country as of now, and that has uh, where I mean there is going to have a wonderful future in the near couple of years.
Another important aspect is the financing part, how financing is being used by more customers now for buying durable products. How do you see that playing a role, and is that growing at a steep pace in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities as compared to tier 1?
In our territories where we have been operating, the penetration of NBFCs and banks for consumer financing is much higher. So as a result, uh, so when we compare the, I mean, when we take the sales mix, nearly 60% of the sale is contributed by the consumer financing. So that is possible because of their rapid expansion also. Like now, these NBFCs banks are extending the credit to the consumers in the suburbans as well. So that is enabling us to really boost up our sales. So, and second thing, apart from this financing, even the brands are offering attractive, I mean, in tie-up with various NBFCs, they're offering really attractive offers to the consumers. So that is really boosting up the sales.
The other trend which has come out is about the digital consumer. You get to see all the prices on e-commerce websites. Customers want to get a feel of it. You go to the showroom and you have a look at these items, and then you compare pricing between what is available on e-commerce and what's available in the showroom. Is that a challenge or an opportunity for you?
It has never been a challenge for us because the people normally, the psychology of the consumers is to first experience the product before they buy it. So the experience, that actual experience can be provided by the offline stores. That's why the consumers, they walk in and they compare the rates also. The offline prices are competitive with the online prices. That's why it has never been a competition for us. It is rather adding some additional support to the offline stores.
Sir, how are you managing this additional distribution channel? Are you also providing the e-commerce sales route to consumers?
No, actually, we are not doing any online on our own online platforms. Only few products are being sold on Amazon and Flipkart. Apart from that, we don't have any online presence.
And which are the products that you are pushing through e-commerce platform? Is it the smaller, high-value mobile phones, or kind of variety, or is it other electronic groups which are also there?
It's only home appliances. We are not selling any mobile phones on the online platforms. Only during season some air conditioners, and then Apart from that, small appliances we have been selling on the Amazon and Flipkart.
Interestingly, the market is looking towards or favoring omni-channels. What prevents a retailer, a big retailer like you, to look at omni-channel?
It is not prevention because we in the past we had little business on our own online platform, e-commerce platform, but there the return rate was very high, and also there is a lot of damages in transit and loss in transit. So that normally didn't encourage us to focus on that online, on the e-commerce business.
Sir, initially you mentioned about the fact that there's a premiumization which is happening. Is it more on the urban side, or is it more on the tier 2 or tier 3 cities where people are aspirant more and they want to catch up with the latest trends there?
Since we have this dominance of the OTT platform, so this premiumization was happening across rural as well as suburbans, like rural as well as metros. So that's why it is across the board.
One of the important characteristics of your model is that you deal directly with OEMs. How does that work for you compared to an unorganized sector? Does it bring you enough leverage when you're dealing with the OEMs, or is there an issue with respect to the pricing part or the volumes which the OEMs have with you guys?
See, OEMs normally they prefer the organized players. So that is where we get the advantage. Like since our dominance in the markets where we have been operating, so we are getting the best support from the OEMs. But we may not get the similar support if we are unorganized. So that is one part. That, for example, like as and when we sell the product, so if there is installation involved, so OEMs are providing the installation support immediately within 24 to 48 hours. I think they are able to complete the installation. Similar types of supports we are getting from the brands, so OEMs. That is normally we are the preferred partners for a lot of OEMs.
Another thing is about the first time buyers and the repeat buyers. What is their way of looking at electronic items? Is the conversion rates much higher for repeat buyers as compared to first time buyers who are very choosy about what they buy, and they do a lot of comparison or research? And how does retailing company like you manage that this environment?
See, obviously, the first-time buyers takes time to take a decision on the purchase decision. When it comes to the repeat buyers, I think it is easier for us to really convert that case. The conversion rate is much higher for the repeat customers. And how we manage means all the sales force in our stores was deployed by the respective brands, and they have the technical knowledge of the product, and they are able to clearly explain to the first time buyers of the features of the products. So that's where actually we are able to convert the first time buyers also to make the quick decision on purchase. And second thing is the availability of the credit. Like in our stores, the representatives from the banks and NBFCs, they are also available, and we are able to process the loan requests immediately within half an hour, so that even the first time buyers are also satisfied in transacting with our.
So what about after sales service? Because that's something which is very important for electronic retail store. How's that evolving? Because we have seen many having their own channel partners who are providing after sales services. Do you have your own, or do you depend on OEMs to provide that?
See, we don't have our own after sales service. So And also when we onboard any particular brand OEM, then we will first check their after sales service abilities. Then only we onboard the product. That's where we are, as of now, like in our philosophy also, we don't crowd our categories with multiple brands. For example, in televisions, we onboard only three brands, and in 3 to 4 brands, and refrigerator, washing machines also, the number of brands will not exceed 5 or 6. So that's how we are able to uh, control, I mean, ensure that the customer gets the best support after sale.
One of the recent trends which have come in the last few years is about private labels, where many of the retail stores have their own private labels as well. Do you have that? And do you see that as a big opportunity for the entire industry?
Industry is where, I mean, there are some markets which are price sensitive in certain pockets. So there it may be an advantage. But in our case, like we don't want to, like, as of now, we don't have any plans to really uh, really deal with any private label products in our stores.
So where does this work? When you say that there are certain price sensitive markets, is it the tier 2 and tier 3, which is very price sensitive market where people want the same feature but at a lower price point? Is that one market where the private label is succeeding compared to the branded?
See, we cannot generalize. Even in metros also, in certain pockets, you will have that. See, customers may not really brand conscious. So where that's where it might work. And obviously, in rural areas, definitely the rural means suburban areas, there is going to be those markets are little price sensitive, so they cannot really afford this I mean, certain branded products. So there is definitely an advantage.
What is the kind of margin difference between them, between the branded and the private label from retailer's point of view?
It varies from category to category. So that's why even we cannot really, I mean, there is definitely gross margins will be at least on an average 3% better if we have the I mean, if we have the private label product.
Sir, and you think that's the way forward for the industry, which is not only to cater to the OEM, but also at some point in time bring in private labels so that the penetration is much higher?
Now, even the next generation people like customers are really brand conscious. Actually, they want to have the branded products. So that's why private label penetration may not be, I mean, they cannot really overtake the branded, I mean, well-known brands. So that is, and second thing, reliability. So uh, durability and reliability are the two factors. And until unless they are time tested, uh, their dominance may not happen in the near future.
Sir, interestingly, the consumer, which is now more digital savvy with internet coming in everywhere, every mobile phone, what we see is a wider product assortment that is available to the consumer. Is this market still concentrated between a few OEMs, and even though there's a product assortment, the consumer comes back to the same OEM? My point is that, as you told me that you manage only a few brands for each category in your retail store, uh, is that a conscious decision or strategy for you? And how do you manage the requirement of higher product assortment?
Product assortment, like it depends on the market requirement only. Like depending on the area where we operate, actually it varies from each cluster to cluster. So, and OEMs really see, currently the existing top 5 to 6 brands, they're able to really cater to the demands of the markets. So that's why there is no little scope for the new entrant in this market.
Can you also give us a sense of the kind of role discounts and exchange offers play for your segment as a whole, and how important are these?
See, there is a lot of upgrade happening across all categories. So that means a person currently using, say, top load machine, they want to go for a semi-automatic or automatic front load machine. So where the consumer, I mean, these consumers, they need to exchange the existing product with the new product. So that means, we have to facilitate the liquidation of the existing equipment with the existing equipment, and we have tie-ups with various local dealers. So where uh, these consumers can come to our store and exchange or rather sell that existing equipment with existing equipment and purchase the new equipment. Similarly, it is happening in mobile phones. So mobile phones, televisions, washing machines are having a higher rate of upgrade. So where we have to really facilitate the exchanges.
Mr. Devarakonda, how do you look at the refurbishment market as well?
So refurbished market is different. Actually, we don't have any idea because that is also doing very well because we liquidate a lot of damaged stocks in the market, and those people are when we take certain feedback from them, what we realized was there is definitely very good market for the refurbished products.
Well, that was Premchand Devarakonda, CFO of Electronics Smart India Limited. Mr. Devarakonda, thank you very much for joining us today and giving us your perspective on the electronics retailing market today and coming on deep dive.